There is a pattern in John's Gospel that has always puzzled me, and we see it at the end of every single miracle story in that, and they all appear in the first half of the Gospel. In fact, the first 11, 12 chapters, and it's called the signs. The first miracle, of course, is the wedding feast of Cana. It literally says that he performed this first of his signs in Cana of Galilee. And then we see the pattern that's repeated after every miracle, because it says every time, and they began to believe in him. Began to believe in him? He would have me after that first miracle. Creating 180, 200 gallons of fine wine. He'd have me. I'm yours. Hook, line, and sinker. But this Gospel of John is a story that's our story. It's a story of conversion. It's a story of growth in faith, growth in the spiritual life, growth in truly believing that he is who he is, and that he is in us and with us. And that takes time for most of us. If you're truly blessed, you come to faith early and convincingly in life. But I suspect for most of us it truly is a process of growth. So every miracle comes, and at the end of each miracle, as someone or some group of people began to believe in him. Even after our gospel reading today, which is in chapter 10, right after that we have the final sign, and it's the raising of Lazarus. Even that, it essentially says they were only to believe. Someone was raised from the dead and they still have doubts. They're still not quite sure. They're just beginning to believe. That is an amazing pattern to me. But it's my pattern too. I've seen miracles in my life. I've seen them in this building. I've seen them in my life and ministry as a priest elsewhere and in previous years. And I feel like I'm a man struggling in the water and not being able to swim very well. And I'm wondering, how many lifesavers does he have to throw me before I'll actually reach out and grab it and trust? Because he's doing it all the time. So there's growth that needs to be done. This season of Lent, again, has been about, and we're drawing to a close. It is a natural time for us to evaluate that. And for some of us, perhaps myself included, it may have been a time of trial, a time that whatever our Lenten practices were, became difficult for us, or where we perhaps failed in remaining faithful to them, and perhaps we found struggling in those wounds and disappointment. For others, it's a wonderful time of evaluation, but don't pat yourself on your spiritual back too quickly. Spiritual life is not about accomplishment. It's about grace. So I think that's maybe what John was getting at, when at the end of each miracle, they still have some questions. They still entertain some doubts about their own faith. But their faith is clearly growing, and it would reach a stage in their life where they could say, as hopefully we can say, or will say clearly, you've got me. I am yours. You have me completely and 100%. No doubts about it.